What's up, Amazon sellers? Today I'm here with two amazing Amazon sellers, and we are going to talk about USA versus the UK marketplace, pros and cons, and which one you should think about if you are starting to sell on Amazon. Stay tuned. First things first, boys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Nice beer.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, as always.
So if you don't know, right now we're out in Mexico City, and we're in a WeWork. I just want to say a big shout out to WeWork for the free beer. Always good. So thank you very much.
I agree with that.
If anyone doesn't know who you are, can I ask yourself, Gavin, to introduce yourself and just give us a quick 20 seconds about who you are and your history on Amazon?
Cool. Name's Gavin Sweeney. I've been selling on Amazon now for almost 2 years. I sell on the UK marketplace, and I've recently expanded to the USA marketplace. I have a number of VAs, and yeah, that's about that.
Cool, fantastic. Thank you, Gavin. Seth in the sunglasses, and if you want to know, the lights are quite bright in here. Seth, can you introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Incredibly bright. Yeah, so Seth Sarvis, I've been selling on Amazon since January 2018. Started on the UK market, got banned in July 2018, moved straight onto the US market, selling just books. I've only been selling books since then. Last year we did just under 1.1 million sales. I went from 1 VA last year to 8 now.
Wow, 8, that's a lot, isn't it?
9 at the end of the month,
Wow.
thanks to FastTrack.
Thank you. And obviously, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson. I'm the owner and founder of FastTrack, and also an Amazon seller. In the US, we're about to do 500,000 in the first 12 months. Fantastic. And in the UK, we did like 3 million last year. And I do have an extortionately large number of VAs, so I won't tell you how many.
Do you even know how many?
Extortionately large.
Yeah, I think it's about 70.
Oh,
We get updates every month, it changes all the time. So last update was 71. We've got 17 job
Are we talking to the future government, prime minister, whatever, of Philippines?
I don't think so. They've just had their elections. But anyway, enough about me. Let's jump on to topic today. So if you want to know, there's a series of videos we're creating really just to get some sellers together to talk. And hey, look, what we love to have some beer, and it's a good excuse, obviously, to talk about all things Amazon. So today we're really talking about UK versus USA. So what I want to do is break this down. Let's first of all go into the UK marketplace. Let's talk about pros, and then let's talk about cons. Let's go into USA, pros and cons, and then let's talk about, so we're going to start today, what would we do and why? And maybe if someone was going to start maybe in the UK marketplace, what advice would we give them? And if someone's going to start in the US marketplace, what advice would we give them? So let's going to start off, Gavin, obviously you sell on both marketplaces. Yeah. Pros, UK marketplace, go away.
So obviously it's much closer to home. You can send stock in yourself. Unlike the USA, you're going to have to use a prep center if you're based in the UK. If you're new to selling on Amazon, you're not going to be VAT registered as well. Tax is also, I'm not going to say it's a lot simpler, but it's definitely a lot cheaper for an accountant in the UK marketplace, which does make a big difference. You also have a lot of communities and marketplaces that will become very good networking tools. So let's say you live in London, you might meet another seller in London, you can then start networking, working together, you can meet up. And equally, you also know a lot of shops in the UK. You know, like B&M, TK Maxx, you know the online shops, you know the retail shops, and then you have the option of doing retail arbitrage in the UK. But if you're in the UK selling on the USA, you can't really do retail arbitrage unless you start hiring people to do that for you, which is then expensive. So the UK is you don't need a lot of capital to start up in the UK. You can get going with a small amount of money. So it's something that anyone can do with less complexities and less overhead.
Is there less competition as well? There are less sellers on the UK market, but obviously it kind of gets counteracted because of the sales velocity is a lot lower. But I'm thinking there is less competition, right? For example, with books, there's definitely less competition.
I think that's a very difficult question to answer. It's relative per the niche that you're in as well.
Yeah.
If you're doing beauty in the UK, you might have a harder time doing it in the UK than you would in the USA. Because as you said, there's better sales velocity, more products to sell. So I guess it does depend on the niche. But then if you're doing something like retail arbitrage, you're doing the clearance sales, you would have less competition with that because you won't have tons of people hitting Walmart and stuff like that. I think it's quite a difficult question to answer, but I'd probably say, yeah, it's difficult to answer. Maybe the UK is a little bit more saturated in terms of relativity-wise to the sales velocity of the items that we're selling. But the benefit you have as a new seller is that you're not VAT registered. You're competing with sellers who are VAT registered, so you can sell it at a much cheaper price. So in some ways, in that way, your competition could be less because you have more wiggle room with the price.
True, and I'm just thinking now, because obviously I haven't sold in the UK for a while, but one thing is that your stock can turn around a bit quicker, right? Because shipping's short, like a lot shorter in the UK. You know, you can pretty much get a same day delivery sometimes, which is absolutely not possible in the US yet. I don't know if that probably will be at some point when drones start sending everything. But yeah, I'm thinking delivery times. And then one other thing I don't think you mentioned was you've got access to the EU market, which is potentially really lucrative. I know it's really potentially difficult though as well, right? Because of all the red tape and EU laws. But if you can get around that,
Amazon is handling a lot of the EFN stuff for you. I think it's iOS S that you have to pay, which is more than the VAT. So as long as you price about a much higher than the source, which would be the UK market, that can be absolutely fine. The return cost will be expensive, but from what I've seen, it's about 15 to 20% increase in turnover, monthly turnover, which is very good actually.
Yeah, you know, I would just remember selling Metal Gear Solid games for about 80 euros in Germany and buying them for about £20 in the UK, and just thinking this is insane. Wild. And the velocity wasn't great, but if you can sell 1 or 2 a month and then you can buy all the Metal Gear Solid games, and there's a demand there. But I don't know if that's still going. But I just remember 4 years ago that apparently the German internet market was just dead. Like no one used it at all. Apparently everyone still goes to shops, so you wouldn't be able to get video games. But I don't know if that's changed now. But I assume it's still an opportunity. It must be. 4 years isn't necessarily the longest of times, but I don't know Germany well enough. Maybe you know a bit more.
Germany is the second biggest market, I believe, of Amazon
by revenue.
After America.
Yeah, but is that just because after America, really?
Yeah, by revenue.
Okay, but that's probably just because they've got the highest population, maybe.
Japan bigger than Germany in revenue population?
I think Japan's similar to UK, 60 or 70 million, maybe.
So pros for selling in the UK?
Yeah, so my only pros that I can think of would be the exposure to Europe and the potential to have increased in inventory turn rate if you've got a good prep centre, because obviously it's just a smaller country. Yeah. But I can think of more cons, but I guess I've got more cons just because.
Yeah. So I think, for me, my personal pros are, I think you're right, definitely we see probably half the time it takes to turn stock in the UK versus the US. Things are just quicker, it's a smaller country. I think the real advantage to doing RA, because it's a smaller country, it's a lot easier. There is a weird thing about VAT and how, so a couple of things. If you are a UK resident, you don't need to register for VAT. If you're like a US resident coming into UK, as in like building a company, you would have to register for VAT. But if you're below the VAT threshold, you do have a competitive advantage. And obviously, I do know some sellers who've maximised that. They've done really well, like working a couple of hours a week, just doing very small amounts in OA. And that works. You could definitely go live in another country and do that and stay below the VAT threshold. And obviously reporting is a lot easier, less accounting requirements, so much simpler. And then you have that weird little hack whereby if you're a UK resident, you can do it under sole trader first, and then you can incorporate the limited company, and you can move the Amazon account from you as a person over to the limited company. So it's the same account, but the government treats you as 2 different people, so it resets the VAT threshold. So effectively you can redo it again. So that's a real advantage. And I think also as well, if you are a UK resident, it's just a lot easier to get credit, to do using credit options, because in your home country you are a resident, and that's probably one of the key requirements for getting debt. Are you a resident? UK national. Yeah. So any other pros we can think of?
And the networking aspect is big, because as I said before, you're meeting lots of other sellers, and part of the reason I grew so quick was because of networking. It wasn't all my own effort. If you work with other people, you can go at twice the pace or even faster. Yeah. So I think having people in the same country, because then you look at the same shops, the same websites, the same stores. You could both do RA at different parts of the country for seasonal items, for example. So last year you had chimneys, that kind of stuff. So you can be within a group of people all looking for chimneys. So the networking part of it, I think, is an absolutely huge advantage. Whereas if you're trying to network with USA people, it's such a massive place. Where would you start? That's what I'm thinking.
I'm guessing it's easier to meet in person in the UK because the geographic is a lot smaller.
Exactly.
We're like 2 states.
Yeah.
Whereas in the US, it's a lot bigger.
But
And
what
you're more relatable to each other as well because you live in the same country. You've got more similar hobbies.
I'd love for you to tell an American
Yeah.
English are more relatable because we live in the same country. And Americans, you don't. I would disagree with that. No, that's cool. Anything else? Any other pros we can think of before we move to cons?
so long ago, it's beyond me. I think I've said
Right. Let's go with cons, and I'm going to start with Seth because Seth obviously, unfortunately, got banned from selling in the UK. Seth, cons, what do you think?
So this is a con only because I was such a bad seller and a terrible entrepreneur to begin with. But I'm pretty sure that the rules and the regulations are stricter in the UK versus the US. And you wouldn't be able to get away with what I did on the US, but I just know that it's more stringent because I think I only had a couple of IP complaints and I got banned pretty quickly, whereas I think it's a bit more lenient on the US market. So that's definitely a con.
There's an interesting, on the side note of that, you just kind of made me think about a pro of the UK over the US is the fact that because of EU legislation, we're a lot more consumer friendly and not big business, but in small person. So things like IP complaints, exclusive distribution agreements, you don't get as much in the UK versus you would get in the US. When I think about IP complaints, they're less of a problem and less likely in the UK than you would get in the US. I think there's a lot more they're more litigious, should we say?
Right. Okay.
If I put it that way. What are the cons of selling books in the US? No, it's perfect. Don't do it.
The cons of selling books in the US.
What problems have you faced in your business?
I'm trying to think of cons, but I'm trying to think of cons versus UK. So obviously there's cons of selling in the US in general, but actually I can't think of a way that selling books in the US is worse than in the UK. I think it can be, but it's at least 10 times slower than the US market. So I'm not interested, even if I got my account back, I don't think I would put much time into trying to even get back into books. No, I don't think if I put that time into the US market and just focus more, then I'm going to make more money. So what's the point in diversifying? I don't think I would. I'd probably give it a shot, just have a look, but I'm not confident just from what I experienced.
Yeah. And it's interesting there, you talked about something, we'll do a video about this later, but you talked about, I don't think it would be worth my time to spend in the UK.
Yeah.
So it really begs the question about when should you diversify and what are the metrics to think about when diversification? You talk about time and one of them. Very interesting. We'll do another video about it. Any more cons about the UK?
A massive con that's just struck into my head, which is just the customer base in the UK. I think, I don't know if you guys would agree, but just as a UK resident, I think we're a lot thriftier, we're a bit stingier, we watch our wallet a lot more. So for example, in my market with books, I sell a lot of textbooks. In the US, I think students get a much bigger loan. They just have more money available, whereas UK students, I remember when I was a student, I didn't buy any books whatsoever. I used the local library, or I'd borrow off someone else, an older student who was getting rid of them. I would never spend full price, which is potentially £50, £100 on a textbook. Whereas I think US customer base will do that. And I think it's probably similar in other categories as well, right? We were talking about it earlier. Just the US population are more up for spending money. And I think that's just a fact.
I don't know, but the one thing we've got to be very careful of is we are English nationals. We look at the revenue, and I would probably agree to a certain extent that within my perception, it's probably more of a pro of the US rather than the con of the UK.
Yeah.
Is that I perceive that there's more disposable money in people's wallets in the US versus the UK. Now, it might just be because the pound is obviously 80p for $1, whereas $1.20 versus £1, so everything just seems a bigger number. Could be that, but when you look at comparable services, and if I give you a really good kind of comparison, accounting fees in the UK, £250. Same accounting fees in the US, $900, $1,000.
Yeah.
It just seems a lot of things.
There's so many parallels like that. For example, just if you pay for box office for boxing or UFC in the UK, it will cost you anything from £12 to maybe at highest £25. Over there, it's minimum 50, 60, and it'll go up to $200 to watch Floyd Mayweather fight or something like that. I think there's so many parallels like that. People pay more for subscriptions, they just pay more for everything. And I don't know, I'm not sure why that is. I just think the UK, they watch their wallet a bit more.
Do they potentially earn more in the USA, relatively speaking?
Looked at this. I think the average salary in the UK is about £35,000.
Yeah.
The average salary in the US, don't quote me, but I think it's about 40, just over 40.
But then you've got to
you have a higher population as well. Population is so much higher, so you have more people on the richer side of the spectrum too.
And there'll be more people on the poorer side.
Yeah,
of the spectrum.
there's a wealth disparity. Yeah,
but that would still outweigh the poorer side on the section of the
You're
UK,
saying
right?
there's sheer number of people on the higher side.
Yeah,
there's more billionaires.
A lot more than the higher side in the UK.
Yeah.
Because obviously 70 million versus 250 million people.
Also, if you take London out of the equation, that wage is going to plummet.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting because I thought the same thing. So I did that. I looked at that one day and was like, wow, they're about the same. But when I think about the UK, I think about like 35,000. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty decent wage. Like, outside the UK, outside of London. When I think about the US and say you earn 40,000, that's like, God help you.
Yeah.
Like, and if anyone's watching, please don't, I don't know, but that's what I've heard, should we say.
But that's in line with the current inflationary environment we're in, right? So those numbers probably haven't been adjusted up for that yet. We're probably looking at last year's numbers, and you've got to think this year prices have gone up.
Yeah.
Well, 10% pretty much every month, and that's the official figures. That it could actually be going 15, 20%. But you don't really know.
Right, we talked about pros and cons of the UK. Let's go on to USA. So, Gavin, you've recently started on the USA. Give us some pros of selling on America.
Crazy sales velocity. Like, there is such a wide range of products that, what was it? It's like a 6,000 BSR beauty on the UK might sell 160 per month. On the USA, that's up to 1,600 units per month.
10x.
Yeah. So it's absolutely wild. And then when you think about it, you have a lot more diverse range of products that you can sell, which then means there's going to be less competition because you have more people niching in different categories. So whilst there's overall more sellers on the USA market, there's just that many more products that can be absorbed. And then you also have the sales velocity as well to back that up. What I've noticed, which is quite interesting, is that stuff will absolutely tank, but the recovery speed of products and their listings recovering is much quicker. On the UK, it might take 3 to 6 months, right? But then on the USA, it could just take a month, 2 months, or even less. What else? I think the amount of niches is niches, sales velocity. The margins are also much higher as well. Like the ROI we're getting is like pretty crazy. Then you have cashback. Like we had Rakuten cashback recently, 15%. Then you chain that with store reward points, then the credit card points as well. Typically in the USA, you get better credit card rewards too. I know that converting my Amex points to Avios, I got a 40% bonus, which is pretty sick. I think, I said everything seems to sell for a little bit more. It could be because of the difference, but there seems to be like it does sell for more and the margins are higher. You can use a 0% sales tax, right? So you're not paying VAT or anything like that. So that makes your margins higher too.
God, we didn't even talk about VAT in the cons of the UK.
We did, didn't we? Well, we used it as it's a pro though, isn't it? It's a pro for sellers who are new.
But we didn't talk about it as a con.
If you're a bigger seller,
Yeah, like it's just a tax. It's like a nightmare, and it makes admin a lot more annoying. You've got to get VAT invoices.
So it's definitely a big kind of a VAT seller when you're competing with non-VAT sellers. It's like the role reversal. It's a pro if you're a non-VAT seller, but it's a con if you're a VAT seller.
And so just to jump back into this, but if you are obviously we're both that, and you're not selling in the UK, but like we both do VAT. And then the big one is like there are a lot of websites who sell from Europe into the UK. They'll charge VAT from Europe, but we can't claim it back in the UK. And also as well. It's not like sales tax, like you just don't charge it, like you actually have to pay it and then claim it back from the government, and anytime the government can say, I want to check to see if everything you're claiming back is legit, and how do you prove that? You have the bit of paper to say, not that I spent the money, like that isn't enough, it's actually like, this is the person I spent it with and here's their VAT number. If you haven't got that, really you shouldn't be claiming it back. So it's like, really like, it's a lot more administration in the UK. I'd say that.
It's more operational complex. I think in my head. Another pro of the USA.
Carry on. Sorry.
So it's just so much easier to find deals.
Bigger marketplace.
Yeah, and that means I need less. I can run higher turnover with a much smaller team. Because let's say over the last 2 weeks we've spent 30k on stock. On the UK, and that was only with two team members. On the UK, we need way more than 2 team members to do that. Especially if we wanted to match the same margins that we get on the USA too. So definitely like how much easier it is to find stock. I find that from our current point of view with the way things is going for my USA business, the biggest issue is going to be getting more capital very soon. Whereas my issue in the UK is always spending more capital.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a switch for me.
A nice switch.
Yeah, go on.
I've got a good pro.
Go for it. Talk to me.
The power of the Amazon brand in the US is more powerful than in the UK. And an example of that is just the FBA premium. It seems that customers in the US just love paying FBA. They love buying Prime. They love getting the faster shipping. They love knowing that they're getting something fulfilled by Amazon rather than Tom, Dick and Harry store. And it definitely converts for books in particular. I don't know why. Well, I don't know versus other categories, but I just know that I can sell a book for $200 when there's an FBM offer at $20 at the same time. And that will happen consistently. That might happen like once or twice a week for me, which is crazy. And I've got like 12,000 books in my inventory. So it's, as a percentage, obviously it's not high, but it's pretty mad to think that you can buy two of the exact same item, and just because one of them's branded by Amazon and it's got the buy box, that they're going to pay an extra $180 for it. So I think that's just a massive pro. And that's seriously helped my business since I started. I think you're allowed much higher inventory limits in the US.
Yeah, because we have storage spaces and issues in the UK, and US is just like everything's massive.
Yeah, like other than last year, obviously everyone had a problem, but that's because Amazon had their own logistical nightmares going on. But now I'm allowed to send in 40,000 books or any item.
Well, interesting, in the UK now, like I can send in over 200,000 units.
But that's because you're doing a lot higher sales than me, right? But it's, I guess things are changing across the business in general, but that's definitely a pro.
Speaking of the high units though, a good thing about the USA is that a lot of the websites allow you to buy crazy amounts of stock. On the UK, we get banned from so many websites.
Buying 3, that's reselling
stock.
stock.
What the heck, calm down. And as well, like on so many of these US retailer websites, it's so difficult to put orders through, especially for normal customers as well. So it's difficult for them to put orders through. Then you have like a 7-day delivery window. It's like no wonder they all flock to Amazon and pay twice the price. I would do if I was them. So I think that's a massive perk as well. It's the way online retailers work and then how Amazon works. It just draws everybody onto Amazon.
I do think also the other one of the positives behind, maybe also Amazon USA, but USA in general, is my perception is around debt and credit. Like, let's be honest, like in our business is about taking money, converting it into stock, putting it on Amazon on sale, and then trying to get it sold, and then obviously converting it back into cash again, and then repeating the process. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time, using other people's money is really advantageous. Now, my perception, I'm not saying this is fact, but if you even look at if I look at the mortgage market, is that like in the UK, you can get like 5%, but they're really challenging 5% loan to value mortgages, like deposits, we say. But in the US, I know people like doing 0 down deposits, mortgages, like they're just willing to lend more money quicker and bigger amounts. Yeah. And it's a lot more available with the available capital. As long as you can show a good credit rating, you see that, whereas in the UK, we're a bit more conservative in our lending criteria.
Does that go back to what Seth was saying, that UK people are just more stingy?
I think it's to do with the legal system.
Yeah.
I think it's to do with, because we saw it with payday loans. When payday loans kept loaning to someone who could never pay it back and they kept loaning more, then the payday loan provider had to cover the whole debt. They got wiped off. Okay. Whereas in the US, I don't think that happened.
Yeah, and that's probably...
That's like EU rules.
It's probably actually an overall con for the US market, isn't it? Because
well, it's a good thing if you can manage debt.
Yeah, but I guess that led to 2008, right? The fact that they were giving out mortgages to people that couldn't pay for them. But as long as we're doing well on Amazon, then it's fine. But
it's fantastic if you know how to take advantage of it.
Yeah, hopefully the audience will be doing that. And
I think definitely in the USA, just the one thing which I've generally said is the sales velocity, and you talked about it earlier, is just so much more obviously the country is 5 times bigger, for example, you are getting 4 times bigger, you're getting much more velocity in sales. Amazon, I think, represents a higher proportion of total online sales. And also just due to the very nature of, the culture within the US, it's like car culture. So you're used to going out buying stuff or having it delivered. Whereas in the UK, I think the whole thing about the UK is we like the high street. We like the shopping experience.
We want to help out the average.
Is that because the UK is also a lot more compact?
Maybe.
The USA, you have to travel so far to hit a lot of these big shops.
Maybe.
Which would then be another reason that draws people to Amazon as well.
Definitely.
Because if you want to spend £80 on an item, you've got to drive 2 hours to a Walmart to get it. Or you can spend $100 online and then get it within 2 days.
Yeah, I think just from that.
Yeah.
I know.
It just makes sense.
We're now on the cons of USA. So after this, we will obviously go into, what do we recommend? We'll share some advice for people starting in the UK and advice starting in the USA. Obviously, if you're getting started from our experience. So let's do the cons, and then we'll jump into that advice for anyone starting in either marketplace. Cons, USA, go.
Tax is well expensive in the USA. Taxes and hiring an accountant and bookkeeping, that kind of stuff. It's way more expensive. Also, because there's so many more sellers in the USA doing high volumes, you have to be very careful with your prep center because they're also doing very high volumes and have a very large client base, meaning your stock can get lost very easy. So the operational issues around prep centers, you have to be very much on top of it.
100%, you've got to be on top of that.
Yeah.
Such a thing.
Same as your transactions and stuff like that as well. Same as because I had my TransferWise account hacked a while back, or the card, not the account, the card. The card was wiped clean. So we've got to keep on top of our card and make sure our card is safe too. You had a similar issue though, right?
Yeah, I had it in my bank account. We had $11,000 taken. I was like...
It's like instantly it's gone.
Yeah,
vanished into thin
they
air.
reported, my team told me about it, and I was like, I can't get angry. But
Pocket change.
To do. I was like, okay, well, what are you doing about it? And instantly got it all back. It was really amazing.
It's so common in the USA though, that's the thing, it's so common. And that's why all the major retailer websites have very intense fraud detection systems and authentication. So it's
cancelled orders in the US.
It's just, oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god.
Stress level goes.
Do you get that in books? Massive cancelled orders.
You get lots of cancelled orders, but that's only because someone's sniped a book before you a few minutes before. So the thing with books is that it will go on 3, 4 or 5 sites all at the same time. So it's whoever gets to the site first, and then the other 2 orders will get cancelled and they'll just send you an email. But there's no cancelled orders due to fraud detection ever.
Really?
It's only because someone else has beat you to it.
Only that.
So if you're faster than everyone else, we will never get a cancelled order.
Yeah,
that's insane. We spend half the time on the phone asking what's going on.
And obviously that increases the administrative cost and the fact that you've got to chase order cancelled. They've taken the money. So now we've got to make sure the money comes back again, otherwise it goes missing. And sometimes the money doesn't show up. Carry on.
Which is then a very complex process to manage that financial side of it.
Lots of spreadsheets.
What is...
Hence why I have 6 admin viewers.
That's insane, that's a lot. What's up for cons?
For me, the shipping time.
Yeah.
So number 1, supplier to your warehouse. Number 2, the warehouse. I'll talk about warehouse in a second. But number 3, we talk about from buying a product to getting it sold. It just takes longer.
The cash cycle is much longer.
The cash cycle is probably twice in the UK.
I do want to be devil's advocate there though, because going from the UK market, being able to, I know I'm getting my stock in 1 to 2 days. I remember looking at the US market and they were telling me this might take you 7 to 14 days and thinking, whoa, how am I going to turn over my stock? How am I going to make money doing this? And I realised that actually that 7-14 is super conservative. So sometimes I'll get a book in 2 days because their shipping warehouse happens to be in Virginia and that's where my prep service is. So I don't want viewers to think, especially UK market seller viewers, to think, oh, that's too much of a hurdle to get over, because it actually was way less of a hurdle than I thought it was going to be. Obviously it's annoying, but once you get going, and once, for example, I'm buying 50 to 100 books a day, then you know that eventually they're going to get in, and as long as you're pricing correctly and you're making your margins and you're selling through, then it's not actually an issue. It's just a part of doing business in the US. But it's still a valid con, but I just wanted to say that.
To add to that as well, we've also had 2-day from dispatch to check-in times into Amazon. As well. It just depends on which fulfillment centre it goes to.
Exactly.
It plays a massive part.
It can be super quick.
Yeah.
But sometimes,
Do you know in Amazon you can drive your truck or car to the fulfillment centre?
Can you?
Yep. I've seen pictures of people doing it. Like they accept you to turn up. It's like, can't do it in the UK.
Massive pro.
No.
Massive pro.
Massive pro. Take your truck in. Okay, so I take your point. I take your point. So if I give you numbers, and this is from my business, in the UK, we're quite aggressive. Buy to sell, not cash out, just the moment it's sold. On average, we average about 44 days at the moment. In the USA, it's about 83. So it is about double. Okay. But again, you've just got to be very mindful. We do play different strategies in regards to our pricing. So if you're super aggressive on your pricing, obviously it's going to go quicker. If you're a bit more conservative, you can take longer. And the reason is generally cash. But I think also the other one to understand about that is, in my business, and because we're being more aggressive in the UK, is that we're doing it in half the time, but obviously we don't see as good a margin. So you talk about much better profits. Oh my God, it's a balancing act. You're making twice the profit, but it's taking twice as long, so your net result is that per month it's about the same. Maybe, maybe not.
I wouldn't say ours is twice as long, but we're going quite wide because our items that we're buying are quite expensive. So we buy like 2 weeks worth of stock because I'm trying to play it so I don't run out of capital too quick. So if I bought 4 weeks worth of stock, I'd just run out of money instantly.
Yeah. And that's the
so
thing.
maybe our cash cycle time is like, sometimes it's like 10 days from them to Amazon, sold within a week. So maybe like 6 weeks sometimes.
Yeah.
5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, so we're like 2 months. That's 8 weeks. So it's fine. Cool. Other cons?
Because there is a lot more sellers. Prices do tank, so it's still a con at the end of the day.
Don't even get me started if a product turns up on the USA deal sheet. Oh my god, it's just like, obviously in the UK it kind of goes from like 10 to 30, in the US it goes from like 10 to 200.
You say that, but recently I've been seeing like 20 to 100 in the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The beauty of doing books, no deal sheets,
Yeah.
none of that.
Because you can't do it because you're buying one book.
And the good books will be gone in 10 minutes. So you send the deal sheet out, they're all dead.
Yeah.
The good books
You've got to
anyway.
be sat there waiting.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to do a deal sheet.
I think the other con behind USA is, I talked about the pros behind credit, but if you are not a US national, like we did, we go to an LLC, I'm not a US national, I have no credit rating in the US. Like the whole point behind getting credit rating is you've got to get your utility bills to AT&T, and AT&T are like, you don't even exist.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you like a prepaid phone. And I was like, So it is hard, but I think you have that same con going into the UK if you're a non-UK resident.
I will counter that though, because we do have a credit card without ITIN.
Amex?
Yes.
And is that an Amex US, and is that based on your personal or is that the business Amex?
It's based on the personal.
There you go, so you have a credit rating in the UK.
So I'm leveraging that
Yeah,
until you
wouldn't-
then get an
like,
ITIN.
If you were just some random guy who turned up and said, hi, can I have a thing, and you've never dealt with Amex before, then no.
That's one of the perks of being from the UK. I know other places in Europe can do the same thing, but because we're in the UK, we can do that.
As well. You can do US, UK, Amex.
But that is a con actually on the US if you are a UK resident.
Yeah.
For me, my example is that I still run my business through a UK limited company, so all my billing addresses are in the UK. So there's actually a few book websites that I just can't buy from because you need a US billing address.
Off topic here. Can you not tell Amex like we've done? We just said we're leaving the UK, go to USA, create an Amex US, and now you've got a personal Amex in the US with a US registered address. Now what you do is you don't use that card for anything personal, solely for US business. Link it to QuickBooks. Done.
That's what we do. Just send it to your prep centre as well. Then you can have your billing address, your shipping address at your prep centre.
Yeah, no.
Okay, it's not a con, you just need to be more knowledgeable.
Problem solved. Right, any more cons behind the USA?
I mean, it used to be a problem was you had to deal with sales tax, but now there's only 2 states that you're supposed to deal with
There's
it.
one now.
Is it just one? Okay, yeah. So that used to be a massive annoyance that you had to like an admin task that was just a bit annoying. But
taxation is easier in the US because you don't have a whole VAT invoice malarkey. But the con side is that if you do a prep center in like Los Angeles, it's 10%.
Yeah.
And if you're buying from retail stores, they add the 10% on, so your cost of goods are now 10% higher, which obviously used to be a profit, which is not really what you want to do. So just be mindful of that. But there's pros and cons. Like, for example, if you do it in a tax-free state, you don't have to pay the sales tax. Or you can work with retailers like Walmart, they allow you to do it without it.
There's quite a few websites that don't add sales tax. Like, as in, they'll either accept a sales tax exemption and they'll refund you afterwards, or they'll just knock it off your account, or they'll have like a nexus or something. I might be wrong there, but they just don't charge you sales tax. We have quite a few websites like that.
So there are ways around it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So let's do
But
this.
another con though, so if you're shipping to a no sales tax, then everybody in the US is also trying to find the same prep centers as you are.
Right.
So those prep centers can become extremely busy. So that can become a con just because everyone's looking at the same prep centers. You're all dealing with the same stuff.
True.
So you become just one of many there.
Should we go make a prep center in a non-sales tax state?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I am shipping to a prep center on a non-sales tax state. Like,
Let's go create.
I pay the sales tax, or in a lot of cases now we are getting that knocked off, but we're getting really quick turnaround.
Let's go live in Wyoming.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Is that
Rascals.
Yeah.
Right. So we talked a bit about pros and cons of the US and the UK. So the question I want to do now is if like someone's watching this, they want both sides. So what we really want to do now is just kind of let's share like 3 top tips from each of us if you're going to start in the UK, and then we'll do another 3 top tips if you're going to start in the USA, if anyone is thinking about selling now. So let's go, Gavin, 3 top tips, and if you want to kind of shout out as we go, that's fine.
So one tip would be to source from websites that don't add VAT. So you got like Stelvana, Sweet Care, but you have to keep your order under like £130 or £120.
These are all EU websites, EU countries outside of the UK.
Yeah, so if you source from these websites and you keep your order low enough, then VAT sellers won't be able to compete with you because they'll have to add the VAT on so they can pay their tax.
Is it when they import or something, or when they sell it?
There's just no VAT on the product that you buy.
Okay,
that's how I think of it.
That's like you're getting 20% off the competition.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a golden gem.
Okay. And then I would say if your capital is low, you have the opportunity to do a lot of retail arbitrage. Cool. So you can look in like TK Maxx, B&M, those kinds of shops.
You've done this really well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I grew quite quick.
If you want to see that video, by the way, check out up here. I'll drop a link to that video that he talked about. It's really good. Okay.
Then what would be the third tip? I guess the third tip would be a generic one. Manage your inventory. Just track. You don't need to track everything if you're brand new, but you need to track like the product name, the ASIN, the order number, and the order date. So that way, if you get like an authentication claim, you can always find that quite quick. So it might be worth having a separate email just for your purchases, and then just log that as well, so you know where to look for those receipts.
Seth?
Wait, sorry, is this top tips for
UK? If you're getting started or selling on the UK, what would you recommend? Any advice? Seth's like, don't go to the UK.
Well,
don't buy from eBay.
Yeah, I guess, but one thing that UK was a great base for me to learn the business. So you don't need to get ahead of yourself and think, oh, I need to immediately get on the US. Like, have it on the horizon, but I think the UK just taught me so many great things that then I could take onto the US, and it meant that I could hit the ground running. So I feel like we've been quite harsh on the UK market, but
and we're all from the UK.
Yeah, there's so much to learn, and maybe because there's certain aspects of the UK business that are actually going to be harder for you to excel. And then if you are excelling on the UK, then you're definitely going to smash it on the US. So yeah, don't get bogged down and just get started, pretty much.
The UK is very good for cash flow. And it's good for learning like different operational things as well, because some of it is more complex on the USA side. So you can use the UK to build cash flow to like live your job, and then from there you can then look at expanding to USA if you want to. And you've accumulated so much knowledge from the UK that once you move to the USA, you'll find things are a lot easier than you would have thought. You have a lot more opportunity as well.
Yeah, true.
Top tips for me, I think if you're just getting started in the UK and you are a UK resident, definitely try and take advantage of the sole trader under the VAT threshold, then incorporate go none of that threshold. I think that's a really good one. I probably think also as well, don't get caught up in the whole hype of growing revenue. Look, at the end of the day, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. There is a lot of opportunity to buy very slow selling items with much better profit margins. And if you ask me, you do exactly that model in the US. You buy books which will probably sell once or twice a year, but you're making insane margins off it. And you know what? You've grown that to 7 figures the last 12 months, which is incredible. It can be done in the UK, as much as we talk about increased sales velocity. The one thing you need to really consider with sales velocity, you're churning volume a lot quicker. What does it generally mean? You need more stock. That means more capital, more cash. If you're limited on cash, the UK is pretty good. Number one, you've got a lot kind of like slower selling items, but there's a lot more opportunity, or there is a big opportunity to do it, but you can turn it quite quickly, reasonably.
Because you can go super wide.
Yeah, super wide.
And then that also improves your sourcing skills if you go super wide as well, because you have to find more items yourself. It's more work, but you're going to find more items, you go wider, which means your turnaround is going to be a lot quicker as well, and you're less susceptible to price tanking because you've got such a varied amount of units.
And let's be honest, we have all lost money on products we've sold.
Yeah,
we've lost a lot of money.
A lot of money. So, like, don't expect to start this and make lots of money. It doesn't happen. Like, you're looking over the average of all your products, you'll make money, but there will be, individual things daily in all our businesses. We are losing money.
But do go find out why you didn't lose money. That's really important. It's not really what we're talking about, but
yeah. Also, we didn't mention the EU. Don't sleep on the EU, because you could have...
You took 15-20%.
Yeah, exactly. And you could have those products that aren't going to sell for 6 months, and then suddenly someone in Spain buys it for a much better price. Than
to add to that, though, there's a lot of unique opportunities in the EU, because you'll have something that doesn't sell well or even at a loss in UK, but in EU it sells crazy well. So you could buy specifically on the UK for the EU. Yeah.
No, you could, because Amazon could be selling a product, they could go out of stock, and that's where you make your sale, and you can make a ton of sales doing that. And you've got 5, 6, 7 different websites where that could happen, right? Because it's open to Sweden as well now, and
Poland.
Yeah, and that's new to me because it was only 5 when I started. So
in my second year of selling on Amazon, I won't lie, for pretty much the whole 12-month period, all we did was buying from Amazon EU, flipping it into UK, and selling it on Amazon UK. That was it. Literally Amazon Germany, finding something, seeing the price in the UK, I'll buy 3 of them, thank you very much. We got to about 20,000 a month and just couldn't go any higher. But that's not bad.
You can definitely still do that, but I just wanted to warn people that if you are buying in the US, you are not allowed to buy in the UK and ship it over to the US. You'll get your account banned for doing that. So don't do that.
Because they do something, don't they? It's like when they ask for IP complaints or proof of authenticity, they say it needs to be the same region.
Yeah.
And Amazon declares the EU is a region, the American because there's another region. Yeah. I think be careful about that, but definitely I had complaints about the UK and IP, and then checking the German, they're you're fine. Just make sure you're not using the Amazon Prime shipping. That is against terms of service.
I will say though that
You've done it doesn't mean it's legit.
Yeah, I have done it, and I have claimed a reimbursement of about $2,000 for missing swimming pools. But I was on my tiptoes.
Let's just be very crystal clear. Amazon has a habit of introducing a rule, not enforcing it, and then one day it enforces it retrospectively, which is
So just don't do it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you've got to maintain the account health, not risk it at all times. There's only so many times we want
to all be running this business in 10 years, and we want it to be 10x in what we're doing now. So there's no point messing around with little making a pound here and a pound there, or a dollar here, a dollar there. Exactly. Just don't break the rules. Find another way.
So let's talk about USA. Someone starting in the USA, top tips, top advice. Maybe in the UK, they're coming over in the UK right now. They want to start in the USA. Well, maybe start out. What would you recommend?
Pick a niche.
Cool.
Start reverse sourcing other sellers when you start finding that niche. Because if you already know brands and products that sell well in the UK, typically they'll sell well in the USA. So you need to find the websites. So you need to use your ExpressVPN or whatever you have, and then start reversing source that. You're then going to find a bunch of websites, right? So you then sign up to the newsletters for those websites and start learning those websites. So it's kind of like in the UK you know the websites, but in the USA we don't know the websites, but we know the products. So we just reverse source the products, make lists of the websites, start sourcing them, get them on the newsletter, start learning all the cashback, that kind of stuff, start understanding points, any sort of tax exemptions if you're not using a sales tax free state, and just keep completely on top of your prep center. Wherever your business succeeds.
Stock control.
Yes. Succeeding in the USA could be, if you don't have the right prep center, you're not going to succeed because you might get stuck there for months and months.
I know that.
Yeah, bloody nightmare.
Q4, oh my god. Carry on.
So I think, cashback is huge.
Make sure you get your Amex Gold dollar card if you're coming from the UK, which I did 3 years too late.
Oh my god.
The amount of first class flights I could have gone on.
Mate, first
I've travelled a lot in the last 2.5 years as well. Yeah. So make sure you do that. That's what I mean. So I would have got a lot of points.
That's the UK version. You want to get the US one because they give you a 40% conversion bonus.
Yeah. So make sure you do that. But the more important thing is to get stuck in and not be scared to get stuck in, because I know a lot of UK sellers who are concerned about getting started because obviously it's across the pond. It's a million miles away, but it's the same business model. I found it incredibly easy to get started on it. I know it's a touch more difficult now, but I don't think it's nothing that anyone can't do, just converting your UK limited company over to a US account. So definitely just get stuck in. I know so many people who just did it far too late, and I was fortunate enough to get thrown into the deep end, which worked for me. But definitely just get involved.
And I think one thing, if you do already have an existing business set up in the UK, do make sure that you have that business running before you start the next one. That's super important because we've seen this time and time again. People move from one business to the other, and the one they just moved from starts failing. So make sure that's secure, and also allocate time to it. You can't just leave it. You want to build two. And I won't lie, running two businesses is hard. Just be mindful that I think the US is a great opportunity to get stuck in, but just make sure you don't forget about the first one.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't factoring in the fact that
I think from what I've seen though so far is that like the USA has just uncapped potential. That's how I see it. There is uncapped potential for the USA. But yeah, as you said, make sure your UK is in a good standing, that it runs itself, and then look at expanding over to the USA. And then yeah, as you said as well, just get stuck into it. Because I think I moved into it quite cautiously over the first 2 months, and now before I know it, I'm spending like 15 grand a week on stock, which is just crazy.
It takes time. Yeah, like I think we're probably about 30 grand a week now, which is 120 a month. And ironically, we're just this month we're about to break the 100k for 1 month. So we'll do over 500,000 this year. But yeah, it's crazy.
And have you seen any ceiling to your team sourcing, to the margin?
Like they went one way, they started going down, like doing more volume but less margin, and we said, hey guys, this isn't right, bring the margin back up.
Yeah.
And then like they had like 3 days and it was a bit hard, and then the volume went back up again with a good margin. We're like, whoa. So like, but interesting, we saw the same thing in the UK, so I think a lot of it is in here, perception. You like get stuck in, you've got to challenge yourself. And our job as leaders is to challenge that. Cool. Mm-hmm. Anything else about getting started in the USA?
That's it for me.
Yeah, just
quick question for you guys, which we're going to do a round robin. If you were going to start again today and you haven't started anywhere at all, let's call it £10,000, $10,000. You're going to get started. Which marketplace would you start in? Let's go with you.
So here's what I would do. I will start in the UK, and then I would do it as a sole trader, get it to like 80k turnover, switch it to a company, do the same again. Then from all that money, I'd then expand to the USA.
Okay, so you're basically trying to increase the level and then go to the USA.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I think given the startup cost for the USA, it might cost like a grand or two. I think with 10k, you're cutting a little bit tight and it's high risk. But the UK can be a very good starting place for you to learn while building some good money, and then you can move over.
Seth?
Is this if I had the knowledge? I've got the knowledge.
Today,
oh, okay, right.
Knowledge today, £10,000, UK or USA?
Yeah, I wouldn't get involved in UK at all. Straight to US, and 10k would be enough to absolutely smash it and make 6 figures by the end of the year in books, easy.
And obviously great profit margins.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's really valid what Gavin says about flipping the money, trying to maximize it, and that's something really important. For me, I would probably say USA. I just think the margins are better, and it's kind of easier. It's less work for the same amount of profit, because it does take longer, but it is more profitable. But there is advantages to being UK national and scaling up that way. So there's pros and cons, and I think at the end of the day, it's up to you.
But I guess if you've got the knowledge we have now, then I can see going straight to the USA, because you already know the risks involved. So that does make sense. As long as you can get a good prep centre, then you'll be absolutely fine.
Fantastic. Cool. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom and everything about UK versus USA. Hopefully it's been informative to these guys. Now, one thing which I will say is I just want to say a big thank you to Gavin and to Seth. Obviously, if you're interested in learning about them and what they do, have a look down in the description below. I'll drop a link to their social media and obviously YouTube as well. You can see that. But what I will do is I will leave you with a video around here of my getting started in the USA course. If you are thinking about doing that, and it only costs $600 to actually get started, the course is only £97. Check it out, I think you're going to love it. But for myself, and thank you to Gavin, thank you to Seth.
Thanks Tom, thanks
Seth.
Seth.
Thank you so much for watching. Take care, bye bye.